out that he had diabetes. They was going to take his legs away from him, and he decided to terminate himself. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to have a discussion with you about your word only lasts long as you live. Your word only lasts long as you live. When it comes to real estate, when it comes to property, when it comes to any type of ownership of any tangible good, you really need to get it in writing. I understand you had conversation, you had sit downs, you had talks, but I'm going to share with you a real life testimony, something that happened and impacted my family years ago. My grandmother, she grew up alongside a family. And as you know, in the South, as African Americans, a lot of times what we did, we worked for people for sharecropping and a lot of other things. So my grandmother, she worked for this family. And this family, she helped raise their kids. She helped with their business. She cleaned the house. She did a little bit of everything. She cooked and she washed and she did a little bit of everything. Over the years, they moved on the edge of town, in this small town, and they started a store. This store sold fruit, vegetables, and a long laundry list of things, everything from fish and just about whatever that was in season. And she also not only ran that store, she also cooked breakfast, cooked lunch, and then cooked dinner. She washed the clothes, she changed the sheets, she made up the beds, she cleaned the kitchen, she cleaned the living room, and I was with her a large amount of the time as a young man. She also would go back and forth in and out the house from time to time because people loved her customer service and they wanted her to serve them when they came to the store. They loved her picking out fish. She cleaned fish too on top of that. I don't even see really, when I look back in time, I don't even see how there was enough time in a day. We did everything from shelling peas, from corn, to all kinds of things. Changing, washing out the freezer. And the freezer, we had to mop that down. We had to bleach it down. We had to change the ice. We had to go get the ice. We had to pack the ice. And as a child, I was just kind of hanging around. But my grandmother, she was a beast, man. She worked 7 days a week. The only time that I knew she was off would be half a day on Sunday. And sometimes she would get to be able to go to church on Sundays. And I would go with her on Sundays. And during that time, she would be church back then, man. It lasted for hours upon hours, fam. And to me, I really didn't see her too much have a chance to rest at all. But years went by, conversations were had. The property that she stayed on, the home that she stayed in, she was promised by the mister that she would get that property. That was her property. And whenever anything or if anything happens to him, that's her property. Now, granted, years went by and lo and behold, slowly the family started to deteriorate. The family started to get a little bit older. And the man, one day, he found out that he had diabetes. They was going to take his legs away from him. And he decided to terminate himself. But when he terminated himself, there was nothing in writing, fam. Nothing at all. In about a year or two, my grandmother continued to do the same thing, run the store, operate the store, still cleaned the house even though no one was there. But after a while, she started focusing more on just the store. Years passed by. His daughter-in-law decided that she no longer wanted my grandmother on the property whatsoever. She wanted them to move and move out, and rather quickly. So, of course, my family, they scurried. They tried to find out what they could do. This couldn't be right. There has to be something we could do. She didn't have anything in writing. She only just had the man's word. And that's what I mean by your word lasts long as you live. If you think about having kids and you think about leaving something, put it in writing. So fast forward, we was pressured. We had to get grandmother, everybody out of the property. So my uncle and my mom went down to the county, went down to the courthouse to try to find out, is there anything that could be done? They looked up the plat of land. They tried to find whatever kind of loophole, whatever. Come to find out, the mister didn't even own the property. He had actually taken over or encroached on another existing property. That property wasn't even deeded. They didn't even really know that it existed during that time. So there was no GPS mapping, no none of that kind of stuff. This was all stuff that was manually written down or surveyed out over the years, and it was just building upon building. So to come to find out, the city says, hey, he actually don't own this land. And we asked, how can we acquire the land? So what they did, they said, pay some back taxes. The back taxes was phenomenal price, great price. And my grandmother was able to continue her life on that piece of land that she worked so hard for every single day. Now, this story ended good, but fam, I'm trying to tell you, please don't just verbalize your goals and your dreams. Put something tangible in writing, have some documentation, and then also record it. If you can do this, it will be a blessing. It'll help the family. So during grieving time, they shouldn't have to be thinking about how to get off or vacate the property or even having a disagreement among siblings. This right here is effective and it's true. So consider this. Only understand that your word lasts as long as you live. So keep that in mind. Y'all stay well, stay blessed, and don't forget to keep on growing. Grow. Take care, y'all. Till next time.